Hello, my name is Jane Fong. I'm a real estate investor and a real estate broker. I specialize in residential investment and commercial real estate. Today, our topic is going to be talking about, does commercial landlord covers tenants renovation? I have a lot of clients asking me if the landlord can just pay all of the renovation so that they can just get the key, moved in, and start the business. In this video, we'll talk about what the reality actually is. As a disclaimer, this is completely my personal opinions. Please talk to your accountant or lawyer for any legal or accounting advices. And if you're interested in buying or selling commercial real estate or residential investment, please feel free to give me a call. My phone number is 647-872-0238. You can also find me on my website, which is www.janefeng.ca. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to it. I really appreciate it because I've been recording it, hoping it will be beneficial to someone. If you have not seen my previous video to calculate commercial rent, this might be interesting to you because we will be talking about some of the topic in this video that involves commercial rent. So you can click on this link here and look at the previous video. So I would highly recommend you to take a look at that video first, because otherwise some of the terminologies might be new to you if when I say it in this video. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the topic. Does commercial landlord covers tenants renovation? Obviously, there are many different types of landlord, and what they do for the tenants depends on many factors. For example, if their location is very desirable, it's like they are not having any issue finding any tenants who is willing to pay a lot of rent, then that would be different than a location where it is very hard to find tenants. Then the landlord, of course, will be more willing to give you more things if you are a good tenant. Also, it depends on your profile. It depends on how much the landlords want you to be their tenants. It depends on your lease term. Many landlords have their own preferences and practices, which dictate what they will give you. Big landlords and small landlords, of course, they act differently as well. So in this video, we're going to summarize the degree of what a landlord is willing to give for a tenant. And we will also talk about in the next video on how you can become more attractive to the landlord so that they are more willing to give you more favorable terms. So what are things that the landlord are willing to give you as a tenant? The first thing is, this will be a dream come true, okay? The landlord is willing to pay for all of your improvement. Improvements means, all the renovations, okay? So this is going to be a dream come true for all of the tenants. Imagine that your landlord is willing to give you let you do all the design for you, do all of the renovations for you, and all you have to do is get the key, moved in, and you start the business. Okay, dream comes true for everybody. This is reserved for very high value tenants. Okay, so it happens, but very rare, and landlords do expect to recoup that cost by charging premium rents. However, after COVID, there might be some offices that are, harder to rent out these days. And these kind of scenario may give a tenant more of a upside because it is harder to rent out offices these days. The landlord might be more willing to do renovations or improvements for you so that they can attract you to rent their gigantic offices. One of the downside of this arrangement is that you may have to work with the landlord's designer, which can be time consuming, and you have less control over the design and renovation process. Just imagine that if the landlord hires a subpar contractor, like a crappy contractor, then you're going to get crappy work. So you don't really have much control over the entire design process, the building permit process, the renovation process, everything. It is completely out of your control. It is under the landlord's renovation team. And if the team suck, then you're going to have a delay. You might not be able to open your business on time, or you might have very not good renovations, or all of the above. But you don't have to pay. And if we keep going down the spectrum, okay, so we might have landlords who are willing to pay some of the tenant's improvement. And you might still be responsible for the majority of the improvements. And of course, you can negotiate with the landlord to see what makes sense for the landlord to cover, what makes sense for you to do. Why would the landlord sometimes pay for some of them and not all of them? For instance, if the renovation is related to the common areas or related to other tenants, then it is more reasonable or makes more sense for the landlords to do it because it does benefit everyone else. Additionally, if the landlords can do some work that is more easily than you, or they don't want you to touch certain things, then they might offer to do the renovation for you as well. The advantage of this arrangement is that you can save some money and you still have control of the overall renovation process, but of course you have to pay for the renovation yourself. There are scenarios where the landlord is not going to cover any improvement costs, but instead they might give you what we call a free rent period, so free net rent period, and a free TMI period. And if you have not saw my previous video about commercial rent, TMI stands for tax, maintenance, and insurance. Okay, so every single commercial real estate lease would have net rent plus a TMI payment on top of the net rent. Okay, so what this is the landlord will give you a free net rent period, so you don't have to pay the net rent, and a period for free TMI, which is like probably the same period. So maybe they give you 3 months free, and during that 3 months, you can begin your renovation rent free. Okay. However, you still need to pay for utilities, insurance. Maybe you might have to pay for builder risk insurance, the policy, so that we can cover the landlord during the renovations. It all based on the negotiation. So this is, actually quite common. Okay. So this setup is very common. When you have a lease, it is, typical and common that the landlord may give you a free net rent period plus a free TMI period. The duration differ. Okay, some landlord might just give you 1 month, some landlords give you 3 months, some landlord give you half a year, some even give you a whole year. It depends on how valuable your lease are to them. The next one is a little bit variation from the previous one. So the landlord at this is still not going to pay for any improvement, and they are going to give you a free net rent period, but you have to pay for the TMI during the renovation period. And you still have to pay for the utilities, the insurance, any other things that you pay for as a regular landlord, as a regular tenant. So this scenario is still good. Okay, it's just that you have to pay for the TMI, which is the tax, maintenance, and insurance, but you don't have to pay for the net rent. Again, all these are negotiable with your landlords. The last one would be the least favorite, which happens. So some cases, the landlord may not be willing to pay for anything or give you any free rent or anything, which happens. In this case, then as a tenant, you must begin paying rent, TMI, utilities immediately before you can begin renovations. So in this video, we have summarized some of the things that commercial landlords might be willing to do for you. It is important to note that the level of support offers by the landlord might be different, significantly depending on different factors. Landlord preferences and practice can be different, and the large landlord versus small landlords might have different approaches as well. If you want landlords to give you more, and the things you need to do is you need to make yourself more valuable to them. So in the next video, we're going to cover the tips on how to make yourself more valuable to the landlord so that you can attract the landlord to A, let you lease the property, or B, give you more favorable terms. Okay, so I'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, please like and subscribe to my channel, and you can contact me at this information. My email and URL is attached here. Thank you so much and have a good day.